currently awaiting hands to be reproduced and carved for this clock. When I was about 11 years old, I went out and bought my first clock collection. And my whole family had collected the entire time I was growing up. So it was natural that I went out and bought my own collection. This large clock here, it's a cuckoo and quail clock, which makes it a little bit more unusual than just a standard cuckoo clock. It has two bird sounds instead of just the cuckoo. On the quarter hours, it'll do the quail sound, and then on the hour, it'll do the quail and then the cuckoo. All these Black Forest clocks were handmade, so each one of them has their own distinct sound. This is the type of clock that mimics the sound of a trumpet. And this was the first trumpeter that I actually restored. And the owner of it was kind enough to let me buy it from him. On these 100-year-old Black Forest clocks, the hands are typically carved out of bone, and they used either deer or dog bone. So a lot of these examples do retain their original bone hands. There is a man that still carves hands out of bone for repairmen and collectors, and he does fantastic museum quality work. What I liked about this one is that the bird at the top retains real bird feathers, and when this one goes off, he's actually articulated, and I just like watching the action of that bird. These are known as singing bird cages, and you wind them up and they mimic the call of a bird. But those work on a clockwork motor and bellows. The cuckoo bird is a very common bird in the heart of the Black Forest, and back in the 1850s, 1860s, I think the farmers that designed these clocks and built them were looking for an example of something from life. That was probably the most common thing that they would have observed and wanted to mimic. The bird is something that everybody can relate to worldwide. I come up with a joke right around when the bird flu come out, because customers would come in and say, "Oh my God, that's so many clocks, how do you keep them all wound up?" And I always told them, when that bird flu come out, yeah, I ought to have seen how much time I had to spend giving those birds antibiotics. We actually enjoy the clocks. It would be, we would notice a huge difference if we didn't have any running. Now we're so used to them that we actually notice when they're not running as opposed to when they are. Back in the days when mechanical clocks were the only time-telling device, people would go downtown in the covered wagon once a week to the general store or the jewelers and look at their clock, because clocks were far more accurate, and they would set their pocket watch to it. And then when they got home, they would set their mantle clock to the pocket watch. So it was a once-a-week resetting. And that's what we call a clock peddler. They would have had they actually would have had multiple clocks hanging on the front by board and straps, and they would have had also a few more hanging on their back. And they would have walked downtown and stationed themselves right in the line of tourists, and the tourists would literally buy these Black Forest clocks right off the person's back. And every drawer on these cabinets is just crammed full of tools. It doesn't take very much of an investment in tools to get started, but as you go along, like clocks, you just seem to accumulate a lot of things. So it's been said that clock repair is one of the least financially demanding businesses to start. And here's one of the phonographs. I just got done restoring this one yesterday. This one's made in 1903. It's an Edison Standard B. And I completely restored this one inside and out.
Well, as I live, there's my old friend, Mose Anderson. Hey, Mose, how are you coming on today? Oh, I'm coming on kind of Scandinavian. What you doing for a living now? I'm a agent. Agent?
There's
Agent
all
for
the
what?
cylinders.
Insect powder? Insect powder? Yes, you want to buy some of this powder? Why, no, I don't want any powder. Does your mother want to buy some of this powder? My poor mother is dead. But say, Mose, just a moment.
And now it's a nice Edison Standard. There's another phonograph that I completely restored. I think anybody that restores anything, enjoys conquering their projects and seeing something actually come out successfully. And sometimes the projects, come out better than what you thought they would have, and that's always a good feeling. But the part of it that I like the best are the people, the customers. When someone comes and picks up their item that's been restored and they're just, ecstatic that it's done. They act like, sometimes that they just won the lottery. They're so excited to pick it up. And that's what keeps restoration people going. That's what keeps us driven, is to see, the satisfaction of someone else.